y'all, what up, it's Van, and I decided I wanted to try and do something a little new by seeing what some famous characters from other media would look like if they were Pokemon, well, commonly known as Fakemon. And this time, we're doing the best bartender in all of hell. That's right, it's Husker from Has Been Hotel.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
So, starting it off with the overall design, I mean, as you can see, it's clearly a manticore. But for everyone else out there that doesn't know what that is, the big cat with wings go rawr. Although I'm sure there's someone out there, big D&D fans, gonna go, actually, there's no scorpion tail. And to that I say, shut up. So, seeing as we're nearly 10 generations into Pokemon and still don't have a Pokemon based on it, I guess Husker will have to fit that slot. So yeah, I guess we start my first ever attempt at making a Fakemon. So I started off with a really rough sketch. Oh yeah, before I go further, just a quick warning. Warning! Big old warning on the screen. Really shit artist incoming. I did go to uni and try and be a concept artist, but yeah, it doesn't mean I was any good at it. But I felt creative again, and it's been a while since I have. And if anybody has actual advice for me, I'm all ears. Any techniques, stuff like that, feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you just hate it, I mean, that's cool too. But, you know, let me know what you didn't like about it. And, yeah, the algorithm might push it a bit more. So, cheers! Anyway, I roughly sketched out a big cat body. But I used sort of, like, the legendary dogs / cat / beast, Raikou sort of thing as the reference, just from like the big kind of like panther looking thing, like body type. But I added the really rough sort of shape of the tufts of hair and sort of the big ears and the wings. But I really couldn't decide when doing the initial rough sketch if I wanted the wings to be spread out or if I wanted them to be tucked in. So I had to actually look up reference. I know, crazy. But yeah, so I had to look at the way that wings sort of bent with birds, and also looked at some angel imagery as well. And I kind of settled on this half tucked in, half out look. Almost looks like it's trying to make itself bigger in the design, you know, to look more intimidating, I guess. But yeah, after doing that, I refined the shape a lot more and decided to give it slightly more dramatic pose by like making it slightly lower and then raising one of its paws like it's about to pounce on its prey or something like that. I also decided that the face was way too chunky, so I really altered the size of it by narrowing it down a bit, and I shortened it because I realized that, well, it didn't look like much of a cat, and now it has the same face shape as a cat. So yeah, reference. I need more of it. Oh, I know I touched on it earlier, but I literally haven't done art in years. I just had massive creative block and just didn't want to touch it again. But this might surprise a lot of you, seeing as I've done art in the past and I like Pokemon so much. Other than when I was a kid, I have never made a proper Fakemon. So yeah, this is why it's real messy. This is why it's really sketchy. And yeah, just take it with a pinch of salt. I'm still learning, okay? But yeah, after I decided that I really liked the rough shapes and designs that I'd sort of blocked out, I decided it needed to have a bit more detail. I mean, I tried to be a bit more confident with my line work. Yeah, it didn't really help. We get better, trust me. This is early days. I had a lot of different details that isn't really on the design of Husker, like the paws. You know, I decided to add those like giant chunky bangle things like Entei's got. For no reason than, well, I thought they'd look good. But I'm really liking where it's going so far. Now I'm defining things a lot more. Looking into the detail of Husker's design as well, that is completely smothered in these heart designs. Whether you notice them or not, you know, the obvious ones and sort of the little tiny ones on his head, the general face shape, stuff like that. So I thought I'd incorporate that more into the design, and like making the face divide between the white fur and the brown fur also a heart. But I really like how it's going so far. It's coming together a bit more now. Especially now the outline's done, I think we're ready to slap some color on it. Now, I always like doing designs, but I never know how to shade them. I've always been bad at rendering, but you gotta start with like a mid-tone, which I just pretty much stole straight from the model. I color picked exactly from Husker's design, but I think I slightly made them a bit paler than they should have been when adding the block color. So in doing so, it made the overall design a bit washed out. And after I blocked in all the color, I decided that with the shading, I tried with a different type of brush. I tried with my regular type brush, and then I realized people make brushes online for reasons. And brushes with different shapes and textures and stuff are there for a reason. So I should try it. Yeah, I should have tested the downloaded brushes before I started just doing it straight on the video. Yeah. I decided to try do some highlights and shading, and yeah, this is what it looked like overall, and I was ready to call it a day there. Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't, because this is just trash. I'm sorry, you feel free to mock this one as much as you like. This is trash. If I'd have posted this on the internet, I'd have deleted this. So yeah, feel free to mock me for this one in the comments below, but maybe not on the other one. The other one gets better, trust me. But after I decided to take a little step back and just really look at the picture and how I didn't like it, I decided to look at more reference of Fakemon designs and tutorials and stuff like that. I'd look at a bit closer into the art style and stuff that everyone else was creating, which clearly everyone is easily able to create and replicate, except from me. I decided to use a little kind of charcoal brush that I found to replicate the sort of old Sugimori sketch style. And I have to say, just from doing this alone makes it look so much better. I've always been told, like, at my uni and stuff, that I was never confident in my strokes, and doing non-sketchy designs to me just doesn't compute in my brain. So trying it out, I think it went a bit better. It definitely went better than expected. Also, changing the type of brush allowed me to have a lot more freedom with the design itself, because now I'm not using this, like, sort of chunky brush. I get to do the finer details. Like, I tried making the bands on its arms and legs slightly more 3D by, like, adding, like, a rim to it and stuff. And I really felt that just stepping away and coming back to it really had an important aspect that I just never, ever considered before. Also, when I was doing the color sketches, I did these gold dots scattered around the wings. And yeah, I could have kept them as just circles, but I thought, I've already gone in on the, you know, the love heart design. In for a penny and for a pound, I guess. So yeah, I decided to make all the little dots on his wings into love hearts. And I may have gone a bit overboard on the love heart design, but I like it. I think it works here. I think it works here. I could have gone for the whole poker chip design, you know, with the little suits and stuff, and maybe different colors based on the price of the chips and the little lines you get on them. But I thought, instead of overcomplicating the design, I wanted to just sort of stick with a consistent theme along the whole thing. So that's why I didn't go for any other gambling aspects. Like, I don't know, I could have done dice on it or something like that, but I was just too far away from the initial design that I just didn't really like it. And with that, the line work is as good as my trash skills will allow me to push it. And now it's time to attempt, again, the most daunting part for me, which is shading. But this time, I actually kind of got it right, because I tested the brush and realized it was because of the opacity and the pressure. And it was so much better after I tweaked it. But I really defined the shadows much more this time, and I did more subtle highlights than last time too, and I think that about wraps things up. Oh yeah, and for all the Has Been Hotel fans saying, where's the bow and top hat? You wouldn't be able to see the bow because of the pose. And fine, I guess here's the hat. But I'm getting rid of it for the final design. But let me introduce you to my first ever Fakemon, Husker, the Manticore Pokemon. I decided to flesh it out a bit more by making it have abilities and moves. So I gave it the Fire Dark typing, but it could have easily have been flying, you know, because of the wings. I also wanted to play into his massive gambling problem by making the moves he had based on high risk and high reward. And the ability I made for him kind of benefits that too. And the ability I made for him this time is called High Roller, which has a 50% chance to improve the odds of status effects, such as Paralyze, Poison, and most importantly in this case, Sleep, which complements its signature move, Close the Tab, which is 90 base power move and 10 PP. With the effect of after the move deals the damage, there's a chance to inflict sleep on either itself or the opponent. And I know this move and ability is kinda trash and it's very much a gimmicky Pokemon, but I mean, it kinda doesn't have to be a good Pokemon, it's all fake anyway. But he's also in Hell, which means he probably wouldn't be having a good time anyway, so, I mean, he wouldn't have a good time in battle too. But there you go, first attempt at making a Fakemon. If you liked it, let me know what you liked about it and how I can improve it all. I'm all ears, honestly. Just let me know in the comments below. And if you do want to see more stuff like this in the future, I guess subscribe so you don't miss it, because I've got a bunch more stuff planned. And also, any character ideas you have in the future for any character at all that I could make into a Fakemon, let me know in the comments below. But until next time, bye-bye!